of the Black Stars.
They don't generate it.
Thank you very much. So that we shouldn't have any confusion about this. In previous years, what has happened, and let me refer you to Nielante van der Poy's era as Youth and Sports Minister. You do remember that there were issues, and he had like major issues and tussles back and forth with the FA at the time, because he would always request for the budget, and he would want to scrutinize and want to cut costs. You understand me? So, thing is, let us make it a public document, because you realize that whenever the Black Stars are going to play any, or are engaged in any major international assignment, the media, away from focusing on who's playing and who's lost out, then by default goes to the cost involved.
Right.
And this is a revolving issue. This is something that is always running.
And sometimes we get to know after the tournament.
Very well, very well. And the FA obviously would have their own reasons for wanting to keep that until the tournament is done. Sometimes you don't even hear at all until the Auditor General releases an audit report on how spend was conducted and all of that. So yes, I believe that in the spirit of fairness and in the spirit of wanting to draw love for the national team and its endeavor, it's important that we just let it slide, so that then the people are comfortable throwing their weight and their emotions and everything behind the Black Stars. Remember, Elton, if I give you money to run any business or anything, I would have interest, definitely. I would have interest in how you're spending the money, whether or not you're spending the money judiciously to ensure that whatever you say you're going to do with the money is being done. So that really is it.
Your guests are already in.
Yeah, I know. And that should also mean that one of these days we should have you come and host the show so that I become your guest.
Of course, it's very important. It's very important. All right, so you stay tuned in. The Sports Link is coming up in some few minutes.
We bring you joy.
Years of God's direction and excellence in this space. And we can only be grateful to all of you who have been along with us on this journey and have continued to make us relevant. So talk about relevance this afternoon. We're bringing you a very relevant conversation, and we're glad that all of you are joining us here from different parts of the world to make us relevant. That relevant conversation hovers around developmental sport. In the sense that in the past week, if you'd monitor the kind of reportage that we've brought you, and for that matter, reportage from our colleagues in the media as well, you'd realize that there was heavy focus on the super zonals, the regional super zonals competitions, especially in the central region and the Ashanti region. Now, as has always been the case, there was very stiff rivalry. Records were set. Some records were equaled. I'm not too happy talking about that, but I have to be professional. And truth of the matter is that every year we see something different and something new. One of the key things that we always see every year is the discovery of a new name and a new face. The other thing that we also see is that we see that those new faces and new, talents from previous years improve and live up to the expectation. So now the question we want to ask ourselves this afternoon is, what kind of path are we creating for these talents that we're growing on the platform of the intercollegiate sports competitions and the, regional super zonals competitions? Remember, we've only heard the stories from the central region and the Ashanti region. what about the others? The Eastern region, the Western region, the Northern regions, and the Buno area. Remember, the Buno area has the biggest concentration of football clubs under the Ghana Football Association. So, when you look away from football, you probably may also have people who are talented from there. Remember that out of Ghana's 10 boxing world champions, one of them comes from the Buno area. So that in itself is good enough reason to go and conduct specific purposive research to see if we can get people who are inclined towards that sport. So there's a big foundation that we need to look into. There's a big foundation that we need to realign. And there's a big project that we all need to refocus our attention on. His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama, has delivered his State of the Nation address. He says that sports must be repaired because sports is in shambles. Okay, how do we get it done? Where are we? And how much work do we need to do? And we're looking at all of this from that small lens of the regional competitions. Well, I'll be congratulating a few senior high schools and colleges, But what can I say? You're welcome to the show. Thank you very much for making us relevant. Our guests are already seated in the studio. I'm sure that you've seen our flyers all over the place. I'll be introducing them properly to all of you, as we always do here on the show. This is the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's just whet your appetite a little bit with what you previously used to do when you were in senior high school, anytime there was intercore or super zonals. And some of the key sound bites that we've heard that all we probably may have missed out on this whole week. Welcome to the Joy Sports Link. My name is Nathaniel Attoh, and I'm ably backed by the rest of the Joy Sports team.
We let from start to finish. How do you get the energy to do that? You have to train hard. Every day we train hard. Continue training. Yes, you have to train. Constant training, yes. Because you learn from the blast to the end. Wow, that was amazing. Jonathan, the 4x400 is coming up. Definitely you'll be in the team, right? Yes. Oh, are we supposed to look out for you finishing up on that one as well? Yeah.
Because we are always looking at the brand, and our old boys are always behind us and supporting us all the time to win every activity that we find ourselves.
Yeah, so I mean, talking about athletes transition, is there any plan there to transition the likes of Joseph Kofi? I mean, he's been a blistering form today throughout all the tracks he's participated in. Do you guys have any plans for him? Likewise, Eric Bonny and the rest. Do you guys have any plans for them?
Sure. If I will not lie to you, Joseph, right after school, I don't know whether maybe he would love to continue his education in Ghana, but the old boys want to send him outside to continue his education so that he can develop his talent no more.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, so he's asking what extraordinary thing that Kofi do?
Oh.
Also, those are some of the sound bites. Of what you possibly may have missed. And names that have emerged from the regions, I'm talking about both Ashanti and Central region, are names like Ernest God of War Achampong. So his nickname is God of War. And of course, he won the best student. Sorry, the best athlete for boys in the Ashanti Regional Super Zonals. Also, Yvonne Appiah of Futu SHS, who also won the girls 100 meters in 12.8 seconds, says her dream is to become an African champion. So in the Ashanti region, Prempeh College finished second with 125 points. Opokuwari School finished with 100 points in second place. And T.I. Hamas. Oh, T.I. Hamas normally are the, T.I. Hamas finished in third place with 94 points. And then Osei Trie in fourth. Jachi Pramso in fifth. Anglisco in sixth position. Islamic SHS in seventh. Armed Forces in eighth. Obuasi Sektek in 9th, and 10th, Mpasetia SHTS. And for the girls, a very big congratulations to St. Louis Senior High School for finishing first with 142 points. Yasantua girls with 110 points in second place. T.I. Amas picking the third spot again with the girls with 89 points in third place. Islamic SHS with 60 in fourth position. Osei Trie with 54 points in fifth. Kumasi Anglican with 50 points in sixth place. Eduman SHS in seventh place. Asanteman SHS in seventh, joint seventh place. Ifiduase in ninth, and Kumasi Girls in 10th. Let's talk about Ifutu SHS. Check this out. Ifutu SHS finished for the girls in first place with 145 points. Closest to them was Idinaman Senior High School with 83 points. Look at the gap. Konyako SHTS, beg your pardon, with 76.5 points. Sami Otu Senior High School with 71 points. And Infantiman Girls site 46 points. And then we'll come to the boys, where Infantipim School finished with 116 points. St. Augustine's, okay, so you see. One of my guests is giving me a very, very inquisitive stare. Infantipim School finishing with 116 points. At the Saddle College, at Disco with 107.5 points. St. Augustine's in third place with 87 points. Agri Memorial with 52 points. And Ifutu Senior High School with 39 points. And of course, it's important to note that Infantipim School won this twice on a trot. In fact, they're winning it 4 times in a row. And that is a very important record. That has also helped them to equal the record of St. Augustine's College, 14 points apiece, 14 titles apiece, I beg your pardon. Well, joining us here this afternoon for the conversations in studio are the acting director of the National Sports College in Winneba, also known as the CK Jemfi Sports College, bringing a wealth of experience from school sports, participating in sport as an athlete himself, and working many years at Ghana Athletics, running the affairs. And now he has a different mission of ensuring that the National Sports College becomes a place of choice when it comes to the training of trainers, camping of teams, capacity building, and also a place where general sports business is done. And of course, appearing on this show for the first time since he was appointed is the director of sports and wellness department at the University of Ghana, Ghana's premier university. And he also brings a wealth of experience, having worked within the school sports space. He has handled a minimum of 3 second cycle institutions as the head of department. So this is a conversation that sits right on his laps. Of course, he will be telling us what he believes should be done from where he sits, considering that he has transitioned from the second cycle space into the tertiary space and is now in charge of the full operation at the University of Ghana. Dr. Austin Lugutera is also our guest here in the studio. Also joining us is Mr. Yao Sechi. He is the CEO and founder of Right Sports, who are in the business of creating very, very big sports competitive platforms. Key among which are the recently introduced corporate league, which is ongoing at the University of Ghana Stadium and receiving a lot of massive appeal. The Sprite Ball Basketball Championship, and of course, I would like to recall when my St. Augustine's College won it. And of course, he is into sports management as well, is in charge of managing Africa's greatest boxer, the Professor Azuma Zum Zum Nelson as well. Mr. Yao Sechi, also my guest here in the studio. Also joining us from a distance, a man who is basking in a lot of pride this weekend because he has done something very significant, winning it again, the Super Zonals competition in Central Region. Mr. Ebenezer Apea is the PN sports tutor of Infantsipim School. He'll be joining us virtually, still basking in that pride. And of course, you can't take anything away from them. Congratulations. And it's on that note that I also welcome my esteemed guest here into the studio. Gentlemen, thank you so much for the time. It's amazing to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Doc, let me confess. I know a lot of my friends who, my mobile friends. Good afternoon to all of you, and big salutes to all of you. We of the St. Augustine's tradition are gentlemen. We speak the truth. We say it as it is. And would like to say congratulations. When I arrived in Cape Coast, and I prepared for day one of the Central Regional Super Zonals, I could tell that this was an Infantsipim competition. But we will be back. Don't worry. Congratulations to Adesado. Congratulations to Edinaman. Congratulations to Efutu Senior High School as well. These have some very interesting stories which we'll be telling as we go along. And, I'm sure you also have your own memories from this very big and important platform. Let me begin with you, Doc. Doc,
Yes.
You have supervised this, as part of your career, and I'm sure that as this went on, first of all, tell me what your impressions are about media coverage generally this year of these two major competitions in Central and Ashanti region.
I think media coverage has been so superb. And as I watch, especially Central Region, where I started reminiscing when I was heading the sports in Apam Secondary School. All the feeling of going there to see sometimes the headmistress at that time who could join the students in the track
Wow.
when they are winning, and you see her running with them
Yeah.
to see the victory, and those are the feelings you have. And it just gave me the opportunity to think that school sports is back, despite the fact that it has been absent for almost 6 years. The silence had been there. And also to see Kumasi again, where I'm also much comfortable there, to also gave me the impression, because I've seen that as when I was heading the Kumasi Technical University there, to work with some of them, and to see that the whole of Baba Yara charged. And I was so impressed to see that records are broken, and you can always see this feeling through the media. And I thought that the media has done so great in covering this package.
Thank you very much, Doc. And more to share with us. And I'm sure that now that Dr. Lugutera has shared his memories and all of that, you are also drawn to do that. Well, just do that. It's very, very simple. 055-111-1997. Tell me about the names, the moments. Tell me about them. We'll share with everyone else. You've heard some of it. I'll be sharing mine with you. I'd want you to share with me as we set the tone for the conversation. So 055-111-1997 or +233-55-11-11-997. Let's come to you, Yao. What's your memory from all of that? That whole space.
Do you want me to talk about Sprite Ball or
We'll
the
come
coverage
to Sprite Ball.
coverage
of it, and
yeah,
also
I've been
your
monitoring.
personal memories from
I've been
monitoring.
monitoring. It's quite impressive, and also looking at the talent on display. I think that it's definitely signaling the resumption of the renewal of school rivalry, and it's great. It's always been there. I think that what has been missing is a proper structured organization that attracts the attention of the media. And so when you talk about Cape Coast and you talk about Ashanti region and Greater Accra, these are regions that have over the period produced a lot of talent and have also contributed significantly to the high school culture. The Jama, the shouting, the screaming, and the records that have been broken. So I wasn't too surprised to see all the reports coming from the Central region, Ashanti region, and then Greater Accra. But I think the focus over the weekend was Ashanti region and Greater Accra. And sorry to your school for not imagining.
My college, you mean?
Yes,
my college.
Okay, whatever,
Yes.
whatever.
The name is
for
Saint
Augustine's College. We
Thank you
get
very
it.
much.
We
The rest
get
are
it.
schools.
The rest are schools, and that's a college.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
so it's impressive, and we can only encourage the regional federations to sustain the momentum that has been engineered or has been garnered or has been started, and let's see how the subsequent events will pan out.
All right, very shortly, I'll be going to the champion PE Masters of Prempeh College and Infantsipim School, so they can represent, the generality of all the championship, the championship-winning institutions who are flying their flags very high this weekend because of the achievements made. But let me come to you, Mr. Bauer. You have also seen a lot of it yourself. You have come from that. You have been in the space competing before. How did you find it this year, and the kinds of memories it brought, and how it's shaping our minds for the future?
And that, the Super Zoo, as it has been called over the years, has been there. But this year, the media coverage has been phenomenal. Since Wednesday, Thursday, and even yesterday, the media spotlight on Kumasi and Cape Coast. I don't think we've seen something like that in recent times. And for me, that is the crescendo. That is where and how we should treat school sports. Because everybody was interested in what was happening in Kumasi and what is happening in Cape Coast. Thankfully, our boys were in Kumasi. So we have their electronic time and everything was captured. But let me just go back a bit. When we were running, the focus wasn't Kumasi and Cape Coast. It was Kumasi and Accra. You know
see.
why?
Yeah,
Because at
tell
that time we had the tracks at Accra Sports Stadium.
Great.
So everything, the competition was between Accra and Kumasi. Now the attraction has moved from Accra to Cape Coast. It has been there for about 6-7 years now.
Great.
Maybe we're not following, but we're keenly following Kumasi and Cape Coast.
Very well.
When we look at our national team, especially junior national teams, chunk of them come from these two regions.
Wow.
Yes,
I see.
these two regions. The guy who just broke those records in Cape Coast, we took him to Zambia and Dola for African juniors. And we are
You mean Joseph from
Joseph
Infantsville?
Ando, yes.
Joseph Ando. That
Yes.
boy is troublesome.
Yeah.
This boy.
It's terrible good.
He is troublesome. You know,
So-
and then before you continue, look, I like his confidence. I like, his posturing, the focus and everything. And I think he's a massive talent. Yeah, yeah.
But, all these things, I was talking to Yao a while ago. The performance of the athletes and the school largely depends on the headmasters.
Great,
I'm telling you.
great.
That depends on the headmasters. When we're in school, Dr. Torres is here. When we're in school in Tamale, we're hearing some specific schools, Orkes, TIMS.
Yes.
In Accra here, we're hearing Emit Electronics.
Yes.
Very well.
Accra
Kada.
Car.
Yeah.
Yes,
Kaneshi,
Kaneshi,
Kateko.
yeah, Kadeko.
Kateko.
Yes.
Those were the schools that we're hearing.
Yeah.
Why? Because those times or those days, the headmasters have so much interest in sports. Even back at school, my headmaster has so much interest in me and other guys that he will always supporting us.
Great.
And if we have all headmasters who have interest in sports to push their PE teachers or the PE masters in the schools, I'm telling you, Ghana sports will be like the US or in Jamaica. Because
Great.
all the PE masters, all of them are very much interested in trying to bring athletes up. But if the school headmasters do not support the PE masters, I'm telling you, their effort will not reach anywhere. So let us encourage the headmasters to encourage the PE masters and to encourage the athletes to let them train very well. Training cannot prevent them from academic excellency. No. Training, no. When you are training, it even makes you more smarter. It makes you more clever. Doctor is here. He has gone through all that. All of us have gone through that. I can see why an athlete, like Azamati, for instance, let's take Azamati for Azamati was doing science subjects at UG, and he never trailed. And who was faster than Azamati? So the academic work shouldn't or cannot prevent a student from becoming a good sportsman or a good sports girl. But the schools play a serious role. The school authority plays very, very important role in getting the athletes and the PE masters to reach where Ghana want them to be.
Amazing stuff. Bring in your messages 055-1111-997. It's a good time to cross over to two places, to the Ashanti region and to the central region. In the central region, we are joined by the PE master of Infantsipim School. And Mr. Frankie J is the PE master of Prempeh College. Let me begin with you, Mr. Frankie J. Good afternoon, and congratulations are in order. Thank you so much for what you are doing for the boys, and what you've generally done over this period to bring out a lot of excellence from these athletes. How's the feeling like? All right, we'll try to re-establish contact with both PE masters. And, okay, maybe let's just ask him to unmute. Mr. J, if you can unmute, probably think that's the reason why we can't hear you. All right, so, well, we'll try to re-establish contact with them. But like I said, keep the messages coming in. Let me try if I have Mr. Ebenezer Appiah on there. Mr. Appiah, can you hear me? First of all, can you hear me? All right, so we will do our best to re-establish contact with both of them so that we resume the conversation with them and take it from. Okay, I'm getting some audio here. Hello, good afternoon. All right, we'll re-establish contact with them and get back to the conversation. But there are various. Okay, great. I can hear you now. Congratulations, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Nats.
Look, it's been a very interesting couple of days with competition. Let's begin with what your biggest takeout is as the champion PE master, if I may put it that way.
All right, thank you very much, Nat, and good afternoon to all your cherished listeners. I've listened through the conversation, and I heard some of your panelists talking about leadership in our schools. You asked of my biggest takeout. I would say that it's my headmaster. My headmaster, yes, he is the one who have brought this kind of revolution in terms of athletics in Prempeh College. You know, my headmaster, the new current headmaster came to the school 2022. 2023, Prempeh College placed 13th in the Super Zonals.
13th, wow.
13th, yes. 13th in the Super Zonals. So, he called me and asked me, how do we bring Prempeh College back to where it belongs? So we had a whole lot of discussions. And 2024, we won Super Zonals. From 13 to champions within 1 year, and it was amazing. Nobody believed it. It has never happened in Ashanti region. That a school coming from 13th position on the table to become the number 1 on the table. And then this year we've been able to defend the title that we won in 2024. So it's all about leadership. If the headmaster is positive, if you want to help you to support you to succeed, you the PE master, your job is half done.
Mr. J, you've raised some very key points, and I want to get it from your perspective. Tell me what you see when you go to the roots, and I'm talking about some of the towns that are drawn away from the urban centers, to go and fish out some of these talents who would otherwise never be seen till they die.
Nat, Ghana, we have abundant talent. Talent is abound everywhere you go. You go to the village, you go to a small place, and then you observe a boy or a girl, and then without any proper training, the kind of skill, the kind of talent that child will exhibit, it will amaze you that that child is, he doesn't even know anything about running shoes or even jumping shoes. So he's doing it barefooted, but the energy and the talent that is in that child, it's like we are not tapping the talent. The talents are abounded. They are there everywhere you go. Ghanaians don't lack talent, but just that we don't tap them, we don't develop them well. That is what I see when you go out there.
All right. In wrapping up with you, I would want you to tell me what you require at your level of the development ladder. What is required at the level of the development ladder? We want to hear it from your own mouth, because everybody else is listening, so that it helps to shape the conversation going forward. What is needed to keep us at a very high level, so that anybody from anywhere in the world can place as much premium as they place on the Jamaican inter-schools athletics because of the sprints, like they do, so that they place that same level of importance that they place on the Jamaican sprints on Ghana's. What is needed at your level? Kindly tell us.
All right, thank you. Nat, at this level, at the SHS level, what is needed is infrastructure, equipment, facilities. That is the basic things that we need to develop this. Because, at our level, we tap or discover or uncover the raw talent, and then we start developing it. All the boys or the guys who run for the universities and the higher institutions, we teach them how to wear running shoes. We develop them before they go to the higher institutions, and then they continue with the development. So the primary developmental stage is the SHS. How many of our SHS schools have standard 400 meter over? Only a few. How many of our SHS schools have equipment like pole vaults, uprights, standard, Olympic standard high jump uprights? How many of our SHS schools can even afford running shoes. It is only the premium schools like Prempeh College, Pokuare School, and Fantipim, those schools. That is why now the schools who have hitherto considered as high academic institutions are now taking over. Infantipim is now Central Regional Champion. But before then, people would say, oh, as for Infantipim, it's only academics. People would have said, oh, as for Prempeh College, it's only academics. But now, because we are the few ones who can afford to spend money on sports, we are taking over the sports now. I want the people who are listening to invest highly in sports, especially at the secondary level, so that we can go down there to the basic schools, discover, pick the talents, and come and develop them for the nation. Not, I developed Yusuf Paul Amwa.
Amazing.
I developed him. Yes. Now he's a national athlete. He's running for Ghana, but he passed through my hands. He was a business student. He didn't even know anything about athletics. But now, after the developmental process here, it is the nation that is benefiting from him. So they should invest. It shouldn't be lip service. Every time we will do this, every time we will do that. They should let us see action being done. They should invest in sports, especially athletics, in the senior high school level. Build the right infrastructure, send the right facilities down there, and then the human capacity that we have as PE teachers, we can also help develop talent for the nation.
Mr. J, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. I'll come and celebrate with you at the right time.
We will be expecting you.
Yeah.
We will be expecting
Agronana.
you.
As for the Agronana nickname, we will take time to explain how you got it. Thank you so much.
But not interestingly, Apia is my mate at the university, the Infantipim PE master that you wanted to talk
Oh,
about.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah,
he's on the other side of the line.
The same class.
Wow.
We were in the same class. So my greetings to him. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you very much, and congratulations again, Agronana. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Nat.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so let's switch to the other side of the line and see if we have the PE master of Infantipim School join us for his comments as well, Mr. Ebenezer Appiah. Mr. Appiah, can you hear us?
Yes, right. I can hear you, Nat.
Very well. Congratulations are in order. We had a conversation. You told me that you guys were focused and you were going to take it. You've done it. Tell me about the feeling, first of all.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me say a very big thank you for having me on your program. I'm very happy to see Yaosechi and then my brother Bawa with you at the studio. As for Mr. Bawa, we have something secret that probably he will share with you concerning the facility that is coming up in our school here. If I let me register my displeasure to you, you told me you were going to interview me yesterday. That Thursday, I went and changed just for you to see to see me my branded T-shirt, only to be told that you have gone away.
Don't worry, I'll make up for it. I will make up for it.
Very well. Nat, in fact, the feeling here is good and great. But let me first of all say a very big thank you to our headmaster, Very Reverend Ebenezer Kobna Edu, and the management of Infantipim School, the school management. Let me also not forget my sports chairman, Mr. I think you spoke to him when you came there, Mr. Mark May Sayosin. In fact, he has been the architect behind our victory. In fact, yesterday the boys didn't sleep on time. When we came back to school, Jama all throughout. They sang Jama. So in fact, the feeling is great. Now let me put it that way in the school.
Great stuff. You have the poster boy of the competition. You have had to hone this talent and get him to become a champion. Going forward, what would you like to see done? Just like I asked your colleague, what would you like to see done, very briefly, as we go along and as they also move beyond the second cycle institution space to want to pursue bigger dreams?
Yes, this one, let it go this way, that I'll first of all plead with the Minister of Education. You know, I think for about 5 years now, we've not had National Sports Festival. And I know the Minister for now, Mr. Kofi Adams. Together, all of us were teaching at Adisade College. I know that He likes sports very much. So he should one way or the other help us to have this national sports festival. It is the light of this that these boys always give up their best. You know, some of these sports boys, I must say that universities come to the sports meet to poach them. So when they see that universities have come, that is where they also try and they give up their best. And some of these services too have also been coming, the police, the military. But these days, for some time now, as it has been cut short and we have not been having it, it is not going well with us at all. So I want to plead with the minister, Honorable Kofi Adam, so that at least this year, come this year, he will do his best for us to have this particular one. And then I must also say that, in fact, Frank has said it all. He was my mate. And if we happen to get boys or boys and girls from villages, and the headmasters don't help us, they wouldn't go anywhere. Because if I go to see a boy in the village, Augustins may want to get him, Adisadel may also want to get that boy, and I also want to get him. If the headmaster, one or the other, refuses to admit the boy, it doesn't go well. So in fact, it's very, very, very competitive when it comes to poaching these boys. As we speak now, Joseph Ando, who has broken the record here, and he's currently, his personal best is 10.1 seconds, and he broke the record last year. You know, at that time, he had come from Ivory Coast, so realized that the energy, the power, and everything was there. The moment they touched down, I think 2 days, then we had the Super Zonas. That is how come he was able to run that particular time. As we speak now, some schools are speaking with us to get in universities and schools outside the country. Texas are speaking with us, Ohio, Kentucky, and then Kansas. So we have some goodies to put him on this particular line, so that at least in future he also go places. He looks up to Husseini others. You know that Muhammad Aziz is from this school. I nurtured Muhammad Aziz. I brought him up this way. He is from a typical village in Dunkwa. He didn't even know how to even wear running shoes. But, you know, as he came here, we tried as much as possible to teach him, and he's consistent in his training, just as Joseph Ando. This guy is a disciplined boy, hard work. You also see him in class almost every time. The head of department has been commending him for that, and he is always self-motivated. He doesn't get tired. Yeah, let me also say this one, that the boy who came best, who was adjudged the best athlete in Form 1, Jonathan Ofori Nkrumah, he was adjudged the best in Form 1. It was Joseph who urged him on. He encouraged him that, my boy, I am doing only 2 individual events. You are doing 3. So I know that the best athlete can come from you. It was Joe who was telling Joseph, the Form 1 boy, realized that he was wearing a band. He took it off and gave it to him, that me, I'm giving you this one. So Jonathan was able to equal the records, the 110 records, and came first. Then 400 meters to he was in lane 1. Sometimes you did at least think that when you are in these lanes, it will be difficult for you to come first, but he ran. He didn't joke in the curves. So realized he did very well, came first, and then he came second. And then joined the relay races too. That is how come Jonathan was able to be adjudged as the best athlete. He comes from Yamrasa. Look at where he's coming from. The boy from Yamrasa. Look at the way he ran. And let me also tell you that he is a striker, a footballer. He didn't know how to run. Wow. But they were playing soccer, and I realized that he's a striker. I realized that the way he bypassed the defender, and that I saw that, no, this boy, if we brought him into athletics, he will do wonders. Lo and behold, as we brought him, look at what he has done. And I believe that when he gets to Form 2, let's look up to him. Almost every event that he has in, he will break the record.
Great stuff. Mr. Pia, thank you so much. And I'll start making up by inviting you to our speech day at St. Augustine's, and then we're going to have special lunch afterwards, and then we'll take it from there. When I get to Winneba, I'll see if I can pull Mr. Bauer along, so that we can have some good lunch and discuss from there. But thank you, and congratulations. Enjoy the moment. You've worked hard. You deserve all the commendation.
Thank you very much. I beg you, Nat, I beg you. MOBA, Fantasy Old Boys Association, they are building ultra modern stadium for Fantasy. Now they are working on the Titan Trust. Now we don't have stadium. We even that is why we didn't do well in field events. Our best was 4th, but the track events, because we normally go to the stadium to train, and then we come back. It's not easy, and sometimes we have to use our own means to go to the place. But with this one, I'm sure Baba will tell you more about that. They are going to bring more. So let me use the opportunity to say a very big thank you to Mobile, led by Abusuapenyi Bedin. I believe that come next year, if they finish, you will see what will happen in the country here. The boys are going to sleep in the stadium down there, built by the move.
I've seen. We know. Mr. Pierre, how's we at it? Don't worry. We know what to do. Thank you so much, and congratulations once again. So, Mr. Ebenezer Appiah is the sports master, the PE master of Infantsipim School. They emerged victorious in the boys' competition. And of course, we cannot continue to say enough to congratulate them. They have their own challenges, but in the face of all of this, they are able to churn out so much excellence. Gentlemen, so many striking, and Doc,
Yep.
you heard so many things that you've heard over and over and over again. Let's begin from infrastructure. So you're looking at what we term as the category A schools or the big schools, and they have, because of tradition, have vibrant old boys and old girls associations who are able to help, alumni associations that are able to help and bring back to come and help in this very substantial way. What then happens to all the other schools? Then it means that governments must take this up very, very urgently.
So can we start it with the same conversation on leadership heads? That's where the whole thing starts. My experience with Apam Secondary School, Achimot Secondary School, then even Kumasi Technical University, and now University of Ghana. Whether somebody will participate, whether a pitch will be created, whether a track will be created, whether a spike will be bought for somebody, running should be bought for somebody, it comes from the top. After school, in Apam Secondary School, I had the opportunity to work with somebody, Esther Hamilton, who was her whole body sports. She gave you the opportunity to go wherever you can to bring an athlete. And when you come back, she gave you all the support you needed to succeed. In fact, during training at dawn, she would be part of those students who get up. She will wake up early, wake me up. We get the students up. Whilst they are training, she's also doing her fitness and monitoring. Every blessed time she's going around to find out about what is happening to students. And these were students who were on full scholarship. Full scholarship. And remember, these are people you are bringing from hinterlands. Some have no opportunity to go to school, first of all. Some after SS. I remember we met a student from Fosu. He's now a pastor. He got 7. Grade 7, a very good volleyball player, but nothing. So the person heard that we're doing trials at Apam Secondary School. The boy took money from somebody from Fosu, came to Apam, and by the time he came, we had finished the trials. Wow. So he was sitting down, best by the tree, thinking of how to go back, and met me. So we had a conversation. He said, volleyball, I just tried him, and very good player, absolutely good player. And the headmistress was ready. So far as you bring, take it, because you prove it. And like Bawa mentioned, these are PE teachers who are in the system, who are enthusiastic, want to achieve. But invariably, we have some headmasters who frustrate them, who intimidate them, who not only try not to kill sports, but make you feel inferior, make you think that you don't matter in the system. And that same language is carried out by other teachers who think that PE and sports is just something somewhere. But remember, these are things that elevate the name of the schools. I have a friend who went to Kumasi to Okes, not because he had Okes performing well in academics, but he just heard the name Okes, and he was interested in Okes. At all costs, nothing would change him. And that's why he went for SysForm. All that done. Abawa is here. We did sports together from the north. And you could see the difference between PE masters as they appear. schools that cherish sports and their heads cherish sports, you see the student and you see their PE masters and you yourself realize that this is sports coming.
I see.
The schools that don't cherish sports and you see their PE masters and see their students, you see an apology of sports coming. That's what happens. And it's sometimes disheartening. So remember, I came from a Palm Secondary School where sports was loved. Then when I transitioned to Ajamota Secondary School, I had challenges. Because I was thinking that I will have the same kind of support that you are giving your all, trying to produce people, spending the time people are sleeping. That's the time you are thinking of strategies, how to win things. You are thinking of recruiting here and there. At Palm Secondary School, you are given the opportunity to recruit. And when you come, and I'm sad for you for now because your school didn't win. But I also have to remember that they come in seasons. There are a generation of players that will come and
remind them.
Yes, there are a generation.
We set the record of 14 titles first.
Good. So there are generations. There are
Very
generation of athletes that come to pass through a school.
Yeah.
And when they pass, it takes you time again to get another generation that will pass. At a point in time, when you mention Central Region Sports, APAM was inside.
Yeah.
You could mention APAM Secondary School.
Yeah.
But where is it now? It's back. At a point in time, you could hear Mando, you could hear Winnisek. But it comes and goes. Now, if not because of sport, there are certain names you mention, others will never have heard the name before. But this is the case, it's emanating from the top. The school, this little thing you do is what the sports master needs. That's small, even you're not saying build a tartan.
Very well.
Just create the tracks.
Yeah.
Tracks, sometimes they need the cowling, the whitewash, something to mark the tracks.
Wow. Very well.
And this is something that the PE teachers have to take a whole lot of time and I will tell you, marking them is not something small. And PE teachers sometimes needing this small powder to make it. Headmasters will be squeezing themselves. Organizing inter halls, it becomes difficult. So how do you get them? I was in Pusiga. I met an athlete, taller than me, 18 years old boy. The boy hit volleyball. I play volleyball. He hit volleyball, and I had no option but to stand to watch him. Barefooted, playing in the sand. The boy leaped and was virtually looking into the other court and hit. That is in Pusiga.
So
how does he come to Accra?
Yeah, so you can imagine giving this child the needed support,
God,
giving him the needed technical training, and giving him equipment. He'll be.
And there are a lot. And there are a lot. Like I agree with the sports the PE teacher where he says talents are abound. There are several. You meet them. And because they are not seeing any headway, all happens is just that their parents will tell them you are wasting your time, because they have seen your likes that have passed through the same level and haven't gone anywhere. So invariably, okay, you are following the same track, you won't go anywhere. Yeah. But that's the thing. And I just think the issue of facilities, development, the rest all can emanate from the heads. And I want to say, to end this, that sports development should not even start from SS. It should start from basic. Because that is a level of development. At SS, they are only transitioning now into getting to professionalism. But the basic is where we actually need them, where the talent, the skill development needs to be done. So if you are not able to build a basic level, when we try, it means we are cutting that level. So you watch it. There's age. Age matters. You don't start the skill training when the person is only 18 years or 16 years. He has skipped a lot. In the other developed country, the person's skill level starts from the 5, 6, 7. By the time he's getting to a 10 and 8, that's why we have Junior Olympics they do. By the time he's getting to a 16, he's now transitioning into professional running. Look at the Olympic runners.
Very well.
Some of them are in 23, 20. That would have been our SS or going to second university. But we rather take them when they are in their 30s.
Well, interesting thoughts raised here by Dr. Austin Lugutera, who is in charge of Wellness and Sports Department at the University of Ghana. Yausechi is a man who receives these talents at the level of the second cycle institutions because of the kinds of platforms he has created over the years. I want to draw from the experience of the Sprite Ball, Yao. So you go through a system where at the basic level, on paper, at GES, there's something called school sports. It exists. Some of the private schools take it serious, some don't. Public schools, same. Some of the public schools don't even have, the infrastructure because the little space they have are taken over by encroachers. And now these few talents are able to get into these second cycle institutions. They play a sport like basketball. They get into the national teams and they come and take part in competition on a platform as big as what you have created, which is the Sprite Ball. Tell me about the experiences, what you've seen, about the quality of talents that have come from that level, and what you see regarding the forward movement, how they're going to transition, based on the opportunities available.
Yeah, so Nats, I mean, a lot to share. But let me start with what the 2P master said. And I think it's been re-echoed around this table. Is leadership. If you have a headmaster who is interested in sports, he's not just going to help you succeed, but he's also going to draw the old students, the old students around to support. And I give you a classical example. If Apia is listening, he will tell you. And Fansipim has a record when it comes to high school basketball in this country. Only school to win a three-peat. And it wasn't a fluke. They have a headmaster. They had a headmaster called Eja. Eja is physically at the event. The headmaster is the guy literally handing water to the players. He's the one giving them, he's serving them the food. And he's there with Ebusia Penny. He's there with all the top accomplished business folks who are all students of Infantsipim. Why? Because he's showing the leadership. He's showing a lot of interest. And I can say same for St. Augustine's. There were times that I will call Dr. Pakwesi Indum to say, your school needs jerseys. And guess what? He provided two.
And let me add to this. Dr. Pakwesi Indum was first to set up a basketball team in St. Augustine's.
Oh, wow.
Yes. He put together or assembled the first basketball team in St. Augustine's College.
And it all comes down to leadership. So in Fansipim School, I will call Nilante Vanderpoy, former minister. And I said, your boy says, yeah, we are monitoring. The late vice president, also a Fansipim boy. And you say, the vice wants to even provide jerseys for them. And you should come to the ground and see the number of old students who come. What's the point? The point is that if you have a good leadership in the school, you're definitely going to have support. And in terms of the sports teachers, you're going to the various communities to identify talent for the school. If the headmaster doesn't approve of that, how are you going to get the transportation? When you go, where are you going to sleep? When you bring them, would he even give them the scholarship? There was a time, there's a kid called Jamal. He was approached by Pope John to play, and this kid had come from a junior high school. And so back to the point, if you get them at the junior high school level, then you groom them there to feed into the next level of education, that's a high school. It's the reason why at the point we started with the Melo Junior Ball competition. And at that level, it's only junior high schools. The high school teachers came, sat, identified, recruited them for the high school. There was this kid called Jamal. We were told that Pope John had expressed interest. Eja drove from Cape Coast. The boy, I'm told, lived around Bema Camp. The headmaster left Cape Coast because of the reports that the PE masters gave them, that they really needed the boy. He came to Accra, went to the boy's parents, and said, I am the headmaster of Infantsipim School. I need your boy. I'm going to give him scholarship. And the boy didn't go to Pope Joe's. By the time Pope Joe's came the next morning, the boys already.
and these are some of the stories you find in professional sport when it comes to recruitment. I mean, these are the same stories that we shared from the Haris Zakors and Herbert Mensahs of old in tussling for one player and trying to outdo each other.
You're
These
right.
are the same stories.
Yes. So it's so I'm just hammering on the fact that if you have the right leadership, you have a headmaster who is interested in sports. You, the sports master, you would not struggle. Look, there was a year, a school called the Kumasi Girls. They won Sprite Ball at the national level. They won at the Ashanti regional level when they came. Only for us to find out that they didn't have a basketball court. Guess where they were training? In the dining hall. After meals, then they'll push the tables and train.
And
no
Kumasi
hoops.
girls.
Yes, they didn't have any hope. So they will just be, shadow shooting. It tells you that the teachers are always interested in building these talents. They are always interested in identifying, and it's their pride. See what the Prempeh guy was saying, that he groomed one other guy, Paul.
Joseph Polamore.
Joseph Polamore. That's his proudest moment. It's not about how much he will send him whether he's giving Momo or not. But his proudest moment is to identify these kids, change their lives through sport. So I think that, Nat, we need to remind these heads that education is not just about the books. We need to give people holistic education, and that includes sports. And so if we continue to have this kind of support from all student associations, from the leadership of the school, we will continue to have more talent who would come into the system, make their schools proud, transition to the next level of education, that is the university, being technical. Also, there's a kid who played for University of Ghana basketball. He played for, I know him, it's called, I met him in Cape Coast. No, in the Eastern region. He played for KSTS. He came under protest apparently at the time. He even wasn't a student, yada, yada, yada. I met him in Kumasi, playing for Report Bounce. And I asked him, what are you doing now? He said, nothing. I said, but you're done with school? He said, yes. It looks like he was clueless. He didn't know what to do. I just called Bello. And I said, Bello, I have a star for you. Bello said, let him come. And Bello is the former director of UG Sports.
Yep.
He said, let him come. He went to see Alaji. For the 4 years that Wolf was with the University of Ghana basketball, they never lost. They won 4 times on the row. And so if I hadn't met this guy and introduced him to somebody, this guy, I'm sure, will be walking around and, nothing will be heard from him, and he would amount to nothing. So Nat, I think that the leadership part needs to be emphasized, that the people who are put in charge of these institutions, junior high school, at the university level, because I remember there was a conversation about even credit score for these athletes, at the university level.
Oh, we have that.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have what we call the scholastical sports, where academic marks are given for those who do sports for the university. It's supposed to enhance their credit. Yeah.
Your vice chancellor need to believe in that.
Yeah. So we do it. So it's part of the system. So it's tailored for. So if you're a sports person in the University of Ghana, you have 2 times. Either you do in second year, third year, or fourth year, to add up to your scores. Yeah.
Interesting. Mr. Bauer, you've heard the conversations about the inadequacies. You are very, very, this is nothing new to you. And how sometimes they practically squeeze water out of stone or find ways of, and this story from Kumasi Girls just blew my mind. So then, on the end of those who train them, which is where you come in handy, because your institution is getting itself ready to revamp, the curriculum and all the programs you have available. Where does that also fit in all of this, where you want to strengthen basic school sports and you also want to strengthen, the lot of second cycle and tertiary sports, and then you're also thinking about the whole educational curriculum and whether or not we are placing enough premium so that it can put the pressure on the heads to be interested, whether they like or not.
Thank you, Nat. But before I proceed with your questions, let me just add to what Mfansi P. Massa said about their infrastructure. I'm fully involved. I don't Yao had done work there before. Yao built their basketball court for them. And we are also working seriously to get Mundo tracks within the Mfansi P. So St. Augustine, your school, you have to do something about that.
Charlie, you people.
But I have a message from the president of the Olympics Federation.
Yes, the Ghana Olympic Committee.
Yeah,
Mr.
Ghana-
Benunu Mensah. We're
yes.
actually trying to
He said
call him up on the
he
phone.
said he's listening and that we are right about the point of leadership, but we are talking too much about infancy. We should talk about St. Augustine.
Yeah. Let me read a message. Let me read a message. let me read a message from Bleobi from Accra Academy. Now, he says, Nat, big congratulations to the organizers, but this is the wisest decision in sports to be taken. I've always maintained that the best way to unearth talents and create job opportunities is for the youth is through sports. Just see what happened and the excitement generated all over. Records broken, potential African and world champions identified. This is fantastic, and this is what we need, and I pray that it will be sustained. I urge corporate Ghana to support by sponsoring the competition, and they won't regret it. Kudos once again to the organizers. Okay, Charles Benoni Okain reaching us from Maryland, USA. Let me also take this one from Inko Joseph. He's a regular listener to this show. He says, kudos to the Ashanti regional heads of GES. After COVID-19, they have been organizing this interco for years now. Cape Coast joined later, but for Greater Accra region, I'm so disappointed in the organizers. The leaders of Greater Accra region have failed us for some years now for not organizing interco well. The only academy in Ghana, Accra Academy, has been missed for years. We are always number one. Coach Sapon, aka Shapiro, who used to set these records with Accra, has also been missed. So he says, Nat, I used to run like a horse, but I couldn't go far. And he also mentions that we've produced sports personalities like Owusu Efriyebeye, who played for Accra Heartsville, Owusu Ansa, Asamoah Jan, Leo Miles Mills, and Dr. Randy Abe, who's playing various roles as an administrator, a club owner, and a person who's within sports administration generally. So these are some of the messages. We'll share some more as we go along. So back to your point, Mr. Bauer.
Yes, so the Infancy is coming up seriously with very good sports infrastructure. But the equipment, athletic equipment, maybe doctor and my friend will tell you, sometimes it's quite expensive. I remember when we were going to buy pole vault, the vaulting poles, fiber optic vaulting poles. One was about 30,000.
30,000.
Yes.
30,000 Ghana cedi.
Ghana cedi, yes, for
Wow.
one vaulting pole.
Okay.
But that is not to prevent the headmaster from buying those things, because we need those equipment to be able to train these athletes. Last year there was a viral video going. Somebody was doing pole vault. It was not the child or the PE master's problem.
I felt very bad about that video.
Yeah.
Yes, because they
you know,
didn't have the equipment to train the student with.
Yeah.
So the student will the headmaster will try to improvise and try to teach the people. But if they had gotten those facilities in the schools, they would have taught them well.
Yeah.
So everything comes down. Now we've spoken a lot about the leadership, but everything comes down upon the provision of the equipment and the training fields. Marking of athletic. Well, we don't necessarily need a tartan or a synthetic running surface to be able to run very well. If we just get enough space, mark our oval, 6-lane or 8-lane oval, and PE masters have been trained to mark. They just need a line to do the marking, and they are set to go. But the next question that I wanted to discuss is, after the personas, what
next?
What next? What happened to the student after the personas? So there are only 3 paths that they can go. They can go to the university in abroad, or now the Ghanaian universities are even giving them scholarship.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily they have to go to abroad. They can come to University of Ghana. They can go to KUSC. They can go to UCC or WUNI, but they also provide the same kind of services like in other universities in the world. The next place for them to go is to go to security services. And now apart from Ghana Armed Forces, the rest, maybe Yah will tell you, the rest don't do anything. Let's call a spade a spade. Ghana Armed Forces, SASA is completely dead. We shouldn't even go there. We tried to revive SASA last year. And look at, you were there.
Well,
the things people took us through,
you
have to back out
and
change the name.
No, let's talk about it. I mean, it's important to
It's heartaching, seriously.
Sometimes it's very painful for a dead program we try to revive. the same people who have caused the death of that program will come after you.
And what is their reason?
They have no reason. They come to take something from them.
When they say there's nothing already.
There's not already done. We had the program. Adot is here.
We sat down, planned
it,
did everything, met. We even called the media. We're going to try reviving it. The next bashes, we have to change the name quickly because we had gone far to now think of just let's change the name and have the program run. And after that, forget it.
So the next thing that we are trying to do now is to just imagine that the Ashanti region see the euphoria from the Ashanti region and from Cape Coast. If we have another opportunity of bringing all these people together as a national inter-school championships,
you can imagine.
You can imagine the euphoria. So that's what we are planning to do now. And that's what we are planning to do now. I met with the Director General of Ghana Education Service. I have been in talks with Mr. Aye and the TVET. We are trying to put out something to organize national inter-school championship, either in Kumasi or in Cape Coast, so that those schools that we saw what they did, we'll bring them together at the national level, and from there we can have them at the African level as well. Because this year we have West Africa and have African Junior Champions.
Great ideas and great stuff, Mr. Bauer. But there's a blame that we all need to take at this point. That as a collective, we were all here in this country when the National Education Forum was highly publicized. Everybody gathered in the Volta region, but I do not see the representation of sports within these engagements and these conversations. There were scheduled dates for engagements at the regional level for people to make inputs and all of that. As a collective, I did not see us there. And I want to count myself as part of it because, I asked a few questions on the ground, but, and to consider that the person at the helm of all of this, which is the president himself, has a lot of interest in this. And so it also then behoves on all of us in the sector to push because he has created the platform. He says, we want to listen. We want to tow a certain direction. Come and make an input into the final direction or the final, road that we will travel. But we were not represented in there. And that could also affect us in the future. I hope it doesn't, because all of these brilliant ideas should also be infused into the final documents that will be executed, especially this issue around basic school sports, so that it creates a good foundation for what we are celebrating now, which is the intercollegiate sports. Let me bring on now the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Mr. Ben Nunu Mensah. I see everybody smiling in the studio. Yes. I introduced him as the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee. Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sue, and good afternoon to all the guys in the studio. Especially Yao Sechi. Bro, good afternoon. I see you are still plugging the low-hanging ones.
Mr. Nunu Mensah, you've also monitored everything that has gone on, and from where you sit, I mean, you are in charge of the Olympic movement from Ghana, and we do know that from time to time you give grants, you give opportunities to these young talented athletes to go and improve their skill further and give them opportunities. What is the situation looking like, especially with what you see happening now and the renewed interest by the media, which could also ripple effect on other areas of this development?
No, thank you so much. And let me say a big congratulations to Joy FM. And I think there's another media house, Sporty, who followed the Super Zonals with all the attention that it deserves. I mean, you guys have changed something that a lot of people were just sleeping over. And if we can keep the momentum, then Intercore of old would then be coming back in the form of the Super Zonals, especially if, like Bauer said, we can get them on a national platform. That is something that is going to change the face of our sports, especially our track and field. In our days, Intercore was where all the national athletes were eventually selected from. But through nobody's fault, because we've changed the educational system, whereas in our days, you spend 7 years in the second cycle institution in the boarding house, and your talent is identified by Mr. Bintum, who would polish you to become a national asset. Now it's not like that. You are there for just about 3 years. So if we can take it a notch higher and then now say the talent that in the past we used to discover them at intercore level, now it's going to be discovered at a super zone, especially if it's done on a national scale. It's so unfortunate that Greater Accra, has dropped by way of the super zone because I really remember, Raleigh, Ebenezer Secondary School, in the days of Shower, Messiadi, the Greater Accra intercore was as big as the one in Cape Coast, and Kumasi. But unfortunately, so I'm hoping that the schools in Greater Accra.
Okay, he was making a very important point there about reigniting the passion and also making sure that everybody is making massive input. Well, we'll try to establish contact with him as we go along, but we'll also activate the phone line shortly so that you can also join the conversation. But for now, it's 055 1111997 055 1111997. Mr. Benunu Mensah has rejoined us. Yes, sir, you are making a point.
Yes, I'm saying that if we can lift up the Greater Accra one to the hype that the Central region and Ashanti region has now, let's face it, this is where all the talent has come from in the time past. I am sure that it will change the face of our state. Like Bauer also said, the infrastructure is very, very important, the equipment. Okay, and that is where I'll come back to Bauer and the National Sports Authority. Before the African Games, I'm sure if you went to the National Sports Authority and asked them when was the last time they bought maybe a tennis racket, they would have told you that it was during the days of Alex Ofori. So there are very, very basic equipment that our sports people or athletes need that are even lacking at the national level. We need to look at that also. Fortunately, we have a few sports infrastructure, which my only worry is that if we don't maintain them, they will end up being like the old ones that we currently have. So there's a complete, or I'll say there's a package that could help us to revive our sports. So it's up to us, the administrators, the managers, to shoot a little bit more focus on it. The GOC on our part, once we identify an athlete, especially from the national federation level, and it looks like an Olympic potential, that athlete is immediately put on an Olympic scholarship where he or she can at least get about $700 to $900 a month, to help you with your training, travel for competition and stuff like that. So together with whatever we're getting from the IOC, if we're also able to put our things right back home, I think that we should be able to get back to the days where Ghana sports was at the helm of Africa.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Benunu Mensah is president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, bringing his perspectives to the conversation. Nimale Ajay, he says that the rest cannot be school. There is an academy. He's referring to Accra Academy. Okay. Kojo Bensiencho just says the school. Okay, Kojo Bensiencho is an old boy of Infantipim School. Thank you. Thank you very much for the message here. Kofi Boachi of Ahuma Clothing also says the whole of Infantipim is listening. All right. Thank you guys for doing the listening. Mr. George Quay, CEO of Image Bureau. George Quay, good afternoon to you. Enjoy the weekend and let me know where the party is at because I know you guys are going to celebrate this a great deal. Do remember that it's 055 1111997. Keep your messages coming in. Now, let's get our first caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us on the Joy Sports Link. Let's go ahead.
Okay, please, William from Center.
Kindly go ahead.
Mr. Bao Hussein is to Mr. Bao Hussein because last year I heard they did a program that they wanted to do a national athletics championship at the University of Ghana State. Later we didn't hear anything. Adverts went around and all that. How are we trying to prop up our athletes for the national teams? Because it's like Ghana, we are always not ready for anything. If there's a program that that's when we see us moving around looking for athletes. We don't train them from the scratch. So I wanted to ask, what are the policies they are trying to put up to help upcoming athletes? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bao, take that one.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's true. Last year we wanted to organize the National Invitational Inter-School Championship in Accra here. We even gave some money for preparations, but it was just unfortunate that we weren't able to do it. But this year, I'm guaranteeing that the program is coming up at the end of April. So it will come up this year, either in Kumasi or in Cape Coast.
Interesting stuff there. Keep your messages coming in, and you can also call 0302 216 541, 0302 216 541, and 055 1111 997. Keep it coming. And your questions are also very much, your contributions are very much treasured right here. Okay, so now we're talking about, we've spoken about media, we've spoken about the state of infrastructure, and now we're talking about the competitive platforms. We've spoken about the gap at the basic level, so that we can channel it through. Let's now talk about tertiary sports, because now we're looking at all of these brilliant talents and how we can hold on to them, first of all, if we can, and also make the most use of them. Doc, you are sitting right there. We had the Gusa Games at University of Cape Coast not too long ago. I'm sure that you had quite a good number of brilliant talents as well. Yep. Normally when these guys come...
We won the athletics.
Great. We have to say that, yeah. University of Ghana won the athletics.
Yes.
After here, the next thing that calls on these athletes is either they have to transfer, especially if they are in their early years to other universities out there where there are more opportunities, or otherwise. What then happens at this stage? How good is it going at the level of GUSA in terms of giving them good competitive opportunities and monitoring them as well?
So fortunately, let me pick it from athletics. The transitioning of the tertiary institutions all emanates from the federations.
Okay. Doc, before you go ahead with this point, let's just quickly pick this call and this contribution. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Nat. How is it? I'm Edward.
Edward, thank you for asking. Please go ahead.
My heart bleeds this afternoon. I just heard about the championship in Kumasi and Cape Coast yesterday. But the question is, why has Greater Accra Sports gone dead? Where are the Ubers? Is it the one at Elwak? Non-existent. I was there 2 years ago, and I said this is an apology of a space called Captain Track. If it's the University of Ghana Sports Stadium, which was just inaugurated last year, I heard they have to pay. Somebody from Ebenezer Secondary School, somebody from New Century Technical, somebody from Sacred Heart. How much is that child going to pay for transportation? When will he reach that place before getting the space to train and coming back home? So we have paid lip service to sports, and that is why there is so much indiscipline in our schools. Because if students know that they have to defend the status of their school in sports and in academic work, they will not go fighting among themselves. So right things should be done. Mr. Lugutera, my senior, I agree to this afternoon. Please calm down. Let's go to the JSS. Let's go to the basic schools. Strengthen the sports there. There are more talents there. And they will not be wasting money and dollars on people who are staying somewhere and they will not even go and do anything for us. So let's keep the fire burning. Let's keep the flame burning. And this year, we think that either one or two tactan tracks should be built for schools in Greater Accra, and then we can match those in Kumasi with those in Cape Coast. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those very important submissions made. Doc.
Yeah, so like I was talking about, at that level of tertiary sports, that's the time you have to now think of how you relate with the federations. And I mentioned athletics because athletics seems viable, seems so active in trying to link up with all the tertiary, even from basic secondary school. So if you listen to Mr. Bao, you realize that they've been monitoring some of them as far back as their secondary school level or even basic school. They monitor them throughout. And I know so well that they have the records of the students and even as they progress. At Gusa Games, Athletic Federation was in full presence at that place. So from that level, they are able to monitor and see those who are progressing with their timing and the rest. With us in the University of Ghana, we don't have break. After Gusa, they still keep them, they have their schedules and they still train. And that wouldn't be the same to other universities who don't have that facility. Because if you go back to what Bauer said, if you look at the presence of tartan tracks in Kumasi and Cape Coast, these are making the difference, huge difference. But we can't say same to the other schools in the north. Because we still have tartan tracks in Tamale. But you can't see same in the north. So the question now you'll be asking of is, what is happening there? And let's have it in mind that, and he's aware, we have certain talents that come from various regions. And that is true. It's just like when you are searching for the throwers, the strength games, the tall issues, and you go towards the north, you get them. You need the sprinters, the fast twitch muscle people, you go to Ashanti, BA, you get them. You need the long distance trainers and the rest, you go to Volta, BA, you get them. So all the regions have their segmentation, and this one is natural. So it is for us to now look at it, where do we want these persons? But we have outliners. Once in a while, you get some of the sprinters coming from the other side of it. But mainly, you get them from these angles. For us, Gusa, what we do is that we depend so much on the second cycle institutions. So I can tell you for sure that as Kumasi was going on, as Central Region was going on, every person in Gusa, everybody's eye will be towards that area. You want to find out, what can we take? What juicy things, what juicy plan are you taking to this athlete and take them back to your school? For us in University of Ghana, we said, okay, come, we'll give you scholarship, we'll pay for your school fees, we'll pay for your accommodation. Come. We have the facilities, others will say same. But beyond Gusa, that is where the thing is. Because we know that with some of our athletes, some of them, this is the time even they are applying for international programs. Most of them are applying to universities in US, and we have a lot of our students who are tripping to that place. So because of that mindset, the training is on. We still keep them training. And I mean, if it's the games, some of them are into the league. In Greater Accra, some of the leagues are active, so some of them are there. But the other regions where the leagues are not there, what is it? Now in Greater Accra also, for us, we have the benefit of even training with some of the GA athletes, because most of them also come to our track. So as they train, our boys also train with them, and they are motivated to see what is going ahead. So these are plans we have for after Gusa.
Amazing thoughts there. We'll get on the phone line. We've been keeping this caller for a bit. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Sorry for keeping you for a while. Please go ahead.
Don't worry. This is Inko Joseph.
Oh, Inko, go ahead.
Yo, thank you. My special appeal goes to the organizers of the Interco. Mostly during and after competitions like this, few of the athletes get maybe injured or they get an injury. And after the competition, most of them will turn a blind eye on them, and it affects them forever. I'm speaking from experience, because if this was a video call, I would have shown you that currently my leg is bandaged because of a knee injury I obtained from my JSS days. If you go to Bongo Balungo in the Upper East region of Ghana and mention Inko's family, you'll be told that Afro athletics were number one. And some of our relatives are still going through it. I got injured in the JSS days. I moved to Accra, Jolu JSS at that time. I was using it, the whole Greater Accra at Jusek. I was the second best 100 meters runner. And through that, I got to Accra Academy 97, 97, 98. I completed 99. And if you ask Shapiro, he will tell you that I was among the best. But the truth is, I couldn't go far because I met horses over there. We had some athletes that were called Suzuki, others were called Lufthansa, Ghana Airways, so I couldn't compete with them. And after SS, here I am, still nursing an injury. So please, I would like to advise them that they should take a second look at those people who have gone through injuries like this so that it will not affect them like I'm going through now. Thank you very
Amazing.
much.
Thank you so much for the thoughts. Let me just quickly run through some of the messages. Lawyer Sami Battels has sent some key ones. Pretty lengthy, but I'll do my best to go through them. Lawyer Sami Battels says, governance and structure is a huge gap. Lack of clear synergy, between the administrators of the education sectors is worrying. Once these talents are identified, how organized are they and how are they incubated? What level of technical support are these talents getting and who exercises the oversight? Now, he's also asking, how are parents engaged? Most talented athletes face the age-old issue of whether professional athletics pays or whether they can make it at all. This is especially when it's difficult for academically brilliant athletes who have other career options. Bread and butter always wins over what is perceived as pipe dreams by parents who probably also end up investing in spikes and other equipment without reward. Unlike football, where if you can't go international and you play locally, the death of CESA and corporate athletic sponsorship means that there are very, very few options. Okay, thank you very much, Lawyer Sami Battels. There's this other one here. Let me just quickly run through some of them. Greetings and great inspirational discussions. Please, as we unearth talents, let's seek to advice from our previous stars who are domiciling in the diaspora. Joseph Andor is saying he wants to break his own record and set a record that can be broken in 50 years. It's a psychological project and sports enthusiasts should take it up. Okay, thank you very much for that message. Some more here to share with you as we get into the final leg of the show and bring you the concluding thoughts of our guests here in the studio. Also, Joy Sports, hello, and I hope this message finds you well. I have a younger sister who is exceptionally talented in sports, particularly football, athletics, handball, and volleyball. She's currently residing in the Volta region in JHS3. I was wondering if you could help facilitate an opportunity for her to develop her talents further. Perhaps a meeting or interview with a team coach could be arranged. I'm forever grateful if you can assist us. This is from Godwin Hookpati. So my producer will take note of Godwin Hookpati's contact and we'll do our best. Yes. Very well, very well. So Dr. Lugutera says that he would want to get in touch with you. So Godwin Hookpati would pick your contact and would make sure that we facilitate this here on the show. Thank you very much, Godwin, first of all, for letting us know about this younger sister who's exceptionally talented. Now, this one says, good day. Good day, Nathaniel. Thumbs up to His Excellency the President for his direction on accountability in our sports. Any person or group of people who feel uncomfortable accounting for their stewardship as far as finances are concerned can only be seen as people interested in misappropriating taxpayers' money for their personal benefits. Henceforth, we should know what every peswa is meant for before and after every sports tournament. Prosper Dominion in Dakuman sends that one. Okay, let me try my best to do one. Another one has come here. This is, please, what about Alimatu Idrisu of Eduman Senior High School? First in 800 meters, 1,500 and 3,000 meters in the Superzonals in the Ashanti region. So, Alimatu Idrisu, congratulations to you. I beg your pardon. So sorry if we didn't add her name to the names of champions there. Thank you very much for all of those messages. Gentlemen, let's come to you for your final thoughts. We know that every time we have these kinds of conversations, there's so much to talk about, and we try our best to just cram it up. Let me begin with you, Mr. Bauer. You are on a mission to rehash your space and reorganize yourself to receive all the persons who are being produced from this part of the value chain. Today we've been discussing very heavily the second cycle space. How are things going, and where do you want to see all of this? Yeah,
I want to see all these talented athletes to become international stars, not only Ghana national champion, but they have to be an Olympians. And for us to do that, we should be able to monitor and supervise them where they go from the senior high schools. even if they are going to the universities in the US, they have to go to a very good universities where their talent can be harnessed and they can be improved upon their talent. But let me just add one more thing, that the National Inter-Schools Athletic Championship will come off by the end of April. And one thing that we didn't even discuss is about the school sports authority that the ministry want to establish.
Yeah.
I think it is a very good thing. Let's all of us put our hands together to see how we can support that, so that the school sports is a must thing that we must do. We cannot allow the school sport to go down, and we also urge other regions to also organize their sports. That's sports zones like the central region in Ashanti region. Accra, they have their sports zones, but it's not as vibrant as the Kumasi and Cape Coast, because their system is different. They are using zonal instead of schools. And a zonal team, who supports zonal team? But Cape Coast in Kumasi, they are based on individual schools. So the schools have the responsibility to make sure that the school team wins the sports zonas. But if you do it, I'm not condemning Greater Accra, because the same thing happened in the north. That has brought the northern.
So maybe it's an opportunity to look at it again, and
they should look at it. The Greater
restructure
Accra and the northern region itself, Tamale, they have they have tracks in the stadium. The time that we used to run on cinder, it's still far better than the time that they are running on the tartan tracks there. That is not acceptable. So this is what these people have to emulate from the Ashanti region. They should also change the system so that we have the same vibrancy, just like what we have in Ashanti and in Central region.
Let's come to you, Dr. Lugutera.
Yes, so mine is just to look at it broadly and thinking that just as the president of Ghana is thinking of talking about harnessing, using sports to harness national development, I want to look at it comprehensive. That as much as we are trying to see this talent development and the rest, we shouldn't forget ourselves, myself and everybody here, that we also get ourselves engaged in sports, because as we want leaders to get themselves interested in sports, we need to get ourselves involved and get these leaders also interested in doing sports themselves. So when they do sports themselves, they will not appreciate all the benefits that comes with sports. Otherwise, most often we delink the health issues on sports and just think that sports is just about talent development. So until, of course, we bring these things also together to let it look at it more comprehensive, because if we are thinking about national development, we are thinking about the health of the person, we are thinking of the economic aspect of it, we are thinking of the social aspect of it, and that is my focus now. I just think that we should look at it beyond. I guess that draws us to what we are now doing, thinking of these corporate activities, thinking that we have to bring the corporate bodies together to get them interested in sports, so that when you and I or Bauer and others think that the federations think that we need to talk to them for sponsorship, they appreciate the fact that
because they're playing.
This is the feeling we have when we are playing football. So it's he who feels it knows it. So the person knows that this is what they go through. So it is it's necessary that we support them.
Great.
Otherwise, if we don't get them engaged, we are distancing them.
Great. And that will bring us to a very strategic time to bring Yao in for his final thoughts, because he just started a project with you, the corporate league at the University of Ghana, which is an amazing concept, which is going. That's the first thing that greets you when you use that South End gate.
Yes.
Yao, final thoughts.
All right, thank you. So just like Doc said, we started this conversation last year. We had 8 teams for the gala, which was in November. After that very successful event, we decided to extend the experience for 20 weeks. So starting last week Friday, we played the match day 1 games. Very, very interesting. So remember, there are 18 teams in all, and these teams have been divided into 2, so 9 each group. And so last week we played games from group A, and yesterday we played games from group B. Very interesting results. I must say that it's been very interesting, seeing all these top CEOs, top HR director, and your colleagues, now you are now transferring your boardroom strategies onto the field of play, and then to sweat on a Friday night, just come after work. It's been very interesting. But let me have a quick thought on what Bawa talked about, the school sports. Listen, we have celebrated the organizations, but we've not even talked about the funding of what we saw. Who funded those activities? I'm told, and because of Sprite Ball, I get close. For a very long time, The reason why some headmasters will be reluctant in supporting is because there is no funding for sports. So you have a situation where the government pays 2 cedis per student times your times your populations. For example, if you have St. Augustine's, you have 2,000 students times 2, and so that's 4,000, and that's to support sports development for the school. How are you going to do that? And you are not doing only football, you're doing basketball, you're doing so we need to begin to look at the funding. So that's why I think that what the president has talked about to bring all to harness or to sanitize the high schools or the school sports will be very good. So when you have one authority or when you have one secretariat that is coordinating it, we should be able to say, okay, at the central regional level, they are given this amount of money to be able to manage it. I think it would help in reviving the school sports, and then also to be able to attract more corporate sponsorship for it. But quickly to say that every Friday at the University of Ghana from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m., come see your corporate folks, come network, socialize, and let's have fun together.
Yeah, and I love the fact that your office has a clear view of the the kinds of beverages we can enjoy on a Friday
Are
evening.
we still talking about the corporate sports?
Yes,
like
are.
I mentioned, that is the University of Ghana Corporate Football League, 18 companies, and that should be the
Doc,
focus.
I hope Yausichi is paying premium price for his office space, because having an extra view of the pitch,
you
pay.
So that's why we are partnering
Yeah.
to make our programs, the university programs, so
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to go.
Yes. Yeah.
Because everyone has his strength,
Yeah.
and that's the strength of the Right Sports is
Yeah.
to do what he's doing best.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we will discuss.
Let
that
me,
matter.
I beg you, 10 seconds. Let me just say a big thank you to Glyco General Insurance, Ghana Football Association, Soccer Local, Vigo Energy, and of course our campus radio partners, Radio University.
Yeah, so Glyco actually is sponsoring, it's giving us a whole package for all the activities of corporate soccer.
And that also just weaves into the bigger conversation of corporate involvement in sport and coming to support, because obviously there is a certain value that you draw, which you get from involving yourself in it, playing it yourself, and then now watching that sponsorship document and making sure that you support sport. Well, this is how we will wrap it up here on the Joy Sports Link. Thank you all so much for doing the listening this afternoon and watching as well on YouTube. Thank you all so much. It's been amazing. Earlier today, our hearts were down because we had to say a final goodbye to our brother and our friend, David Amoah, who is a camera technician here, passed on some weeks ago, and we went through the final rites for him this morning. So our hearts go out to his family once again. And of course, we're still celebrating with Mr. Raymond Labi, Blaubi Raymond Labi. Raymond Labi is the Human Resources and Shared Services Manager here at the Multimedia Group. Happy 50th birthday to you. The celebration continues. And of course, to my brother and friend, Nathan Kobna Anochi Adesi, a.k.a. Bolare. Bolare is celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday to you. And to all of our friends who received the appointments as well. I'm sure that this afternoon, Kwame Dazi will be doing some conversation around all of these persons and what they're going to be contributing to the space. Kwame is around. Kwame, just before, I hand over to you, would have to say a big congratulations to Mr. Rex Omar, or Rex Owusumafo. He's in charge of the Black Star experience at the presidency. Kofi Otre Dakon has been named as the director of diaspora affairs at the presidency, and of course our friend and our brother Abiku Agri Santana, now the deputy CEO of what's happening this afternoon, bro.
And then we have James Gardner.
Wow, James
also
Gardner,
Deputy
Executive Secretary for NFA. But when I say George Kwe will say I shouldn't.
Relax.
Yeah, Kafui Danku Pecha will be leading, and he will be the deputy executive secretary.
So today we're having a discussion on that, and then we hear from some of them.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Kwame Dazi, my man, he'll be taking over with the highest paid DJ in this side of town.
Highest paid DJ. Wait, they do show.
He go do show. Don't worry. The show there, he go do pa. Stay here on Joy 99.7 FM. More to come. Showbiz A to Z takes over. My name is Nathaniel Attoh, and I have love for sport.